All right, I want to go ahead and get started. My name is Tara Mitchell. I'm a professor of practice and exercise science and kinesiology at the Tulane School of Professional Advancement. I'm gonna walk you guys through the whole process for getting started with an internship within the kinesiology programs. And this is geared both for undergraduates and our graduates. The process is very similar. Your internships may look very different though. Um, so we'll go through a very similar process. But before we get started with the information that I want to share with you all tonight, I just want to give some time for Dan and Michaela to introduce themselves. You guys probably already know them very well, but just so that you guys know who they are. Dan, why don't you go ahead and get started?
Yeah, hi everyone. I do know a couple of you guys. My name is Dan Ray. I'm a senior academic advisor for the School of Professional Advancement, excuse me. And I am the undergraduate advisor for kinesiology. I advise students that are doing the health and wellness major and also the exercise science program at our school.
Thank you, Dan. Michaela?
Hi, everyone. I'm Michaela Williams. I am the Senior Academic Advisor for the Graduate Program in Kinesiology. I work with students in Sports Studies Program and Health and Wellness Management.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to take us through just how you get started with an internship and just the general purpose of the internship. And having our academic advisors here will be great because this is a two-part process, doing an internship. The first step is really investigating an internship, completing the approval process, and that's with me. And once that's done, Dan and Michaela will take you through the registration process and making sure you're able to get into the course to complete your internship. All right. So generally, what I want you guys to understand is just the purpose of an internship. It's really to provide you with practical experience in a professional setting. It's an opportunity to get feedback in that professional setting and an opportunity for self-evaluation and self-reflection. So an internship is a really great way at the end of your degree program or somewhere towards the end of your degree program where you take all of the information that you've learned in your kinesiology courses and you start applying it to real life, and then you start to evaluate, okay, did I really understand all of those concepts? And that's really what you do in an internship. It's almost like being in a job, but it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to get feedback and it's okay to say, you know what, I could have done that better. That's the really great thing about doing internships. And if you're considering an internship, it's a great way to kind of get your feet wet in a particular field or in a particular setting before you actually are out in the workforce. Some common settings that we see for internships are clinical sites, commercial fitness, commercial wellness, corporate and private wellness programs, recreational programs, health programs, and honestly, this is only a tip of the iceberg. Kinesiology is such a broad discipline that you can find applicable internships in so many settings. So don't think that your internship has to fit into these specific settings. We've had some very creative ones, but ultimately they should, if you're doing an internship with the kinesiology program, they should fit into some of the sub-disciplines of kinesiology, but just remember that's pretty broad. One number to keep in mind is 120 hours. One word to really focus on this slide is that it's supervised hours. So one of the things about an academic internship that might be different than working a job in that setting is that we really do expect that you're going to be learning from someone, that you have a supervisor who's directly watching over what you're doing and not only watching you, but instructing you in how to be a better, whatever it is you might be doing during your internship. So it's 120 hours must be met to get credit within the course. And as an internship, and then you should have supervision for this. It is not a job where you just go and you get work done on your own and that's it. You really are looking for that opportunity for that feedback on how you're doing. It's an opportunity to grow before you're out and into the full workforce. Some expected outcomes. You're going to develop professional contacts. This is a great way if you're investigating an internship and investigating clinical sites, because that's part of what you do. You actually seek out these clinical sites or the internship sites. They don't have to be clinical. You're going to develop contacts and start networking within your chosen field even before you graduate with your degree. And in most health and wellness, in sports, in exercise science, in kinesiology in general, and really in life, having personal and professional contacts is really, really important and really key to success. You'll find mentors there, you'll find business contacts by having these contacts very early on and practicing creating these types of contacts. You'll be able to apply the knowledge and principles of kinesiology. You'll learn new information. So even though you've spent your time really learning these principles of kinesiology and sports studies, health and wellness, you'll be able to actually learn some new information that we can't always give you that experience in the classroom. And so that's the really great thing about an internship. You'll be provided professional experiences that then transfer to the workforce. You get to develop your own personal initiative or personal drive and start to learn how to lead yourself, which in talking about leadership, that's the beginning of becoming a leader, is learning how to lead and self-initiate and create an internal drive to get things done. You'll develop a positive rapport with your site supervisor, your coworkers, clients or patients, and other stakeholders for where you choose to do your internship. And you're able to observe and evaluate the experience in the environment. And this is a really important point of an internship, is that you get to evaluate whether or not this is a space that you actually want to work in. I can go back to the story of how my career developed. I thought I wanted to be a pediatric physical therapist. Well, I did a volunteer internship at a pediatric hospital and realized I love playing with kids, but having to convince them to do therapy was not my thing. So I really learned that I love that aspect, and I appreciated the skill set that it took to work with patients who are under the age of 12, but realized that, you know, my skill set was a little bit older. So I learned great things there, but I also learned a little bit more about myself, and it helped me develop further along the line in my career. So you get to evaluate your internship experience. You get to evaluate the environment. Is this a place that you see yourself working in once you do graduate and you have the credentials to work in that environment? Now we start to kind of identify what needs to happen in order to register to be in an internship class. You have to choose a site that has to involve physical activity, sport, health, wellness, promotion, rehab, and/or fitness, and more. And that's why there is this kind of approval process, because there could be opportunities that we don't have listed here or listed in the application forms that should be considered. And so the student has to be supervised daily, and you have to pursue an internship. You can pursue an internship at any approved location in the US. So basically, it has to be in the US. The way that we have moved to virtual in so many ways, you can very well perform your internship in person in another state and still communicate with us here at Tulane. So we can definitely talk through those opportunities as well. So your responsibilities for initiating or letting us know that you have interest in doing an internship in the kinesiology department. You need to schedule an initial meeting with me, the kinesiology and internship coordinator. Schedule an appointment to interview and meet with the site supervisor, and basically understand what the internship position would be, and obviously get their acceptance of you as an intern. Request the site supervisor complete a verification of internship site form, and ensure this form has been submitted to the internship coordinator prior to starting any time at the internship site. So your internship has to be approved before you can start any hours that will be counted towards your credit towards the course. You have to make a formal application for an internship prior to enrolling, and then the students, you must register for 3 hours as approved by the internship coordinator. You have to hold professional liability insurance. You have to keep track of all the hours. You have to schedule monthly meetings with me. And those meetings serve as an opportunity to check in, to evaluate the internship experience, evaluate how you feel the experience is going, and maybe I can help you kind of think through any issues that might be happening, or any opportunities that might be happening during the internship. Those are monthly meetings that are required for the course. Going to your internship site, you should dress professionally, and that is broad within kinesiology. In some areas, you'll be in a gym, so being very casual and in exercise clothing, that's appropriate. Or you may be in office settings where a suit is more appropriate. So it's very broad, and you should definitely dress with respect to where your internship is and what their dress codes might be. Respect patient or client privacy. Submit an initial report the first week of the internship, and submit weekly reports that's signed by your site supervisor. And then there's a 3-week report, and then there's a final report and a final portfolio. If you didn't catch all that, that's okay. Once you're interested, you decide that you want to do an internship, I will give you access to all of the documents that has all of this written down. The last thing you want to keep in mind, you should check email and Canvas regularly for communication from the internship coordinator. So what is the facility that you choose, your internship site? What are their responsibilities? Meet with the student to interview for an internship, complete and sign the verification of internship site form, provide training and supervision for the intern while on the job, review and sign those weekly reports and the 3-week report and the final report, and provide a safe, supervised, and educational experience. We really want to stress that you are in an environment that adds to your education or your academic experience during this time. And then the internship coordinator, what I'll do is meet with the student or the intern prior to the start of the internship, and review the application, the site verification forms, as well as the proof of insurance, and either approve, tweak what your internship proposal is, or decline. And I haven't had any declines yet. So very likely it'll be approved or asked for some tweaking to make sure that it falls in alignment with the objectives of the internship. Meet with the student regularly, which is monthly, during that semester, and then evaluate all of the written assignments and the final portfolio, including the supervisor's report on how the intern is doing during the internship. So what happens when? I've said a lot about forms and verifying and choosing a site and meeting with people. What has to happen? So if you are interested in doing an internship this summer or into the fall, now is the time to really start taking those first steps. So set up a meeting with me, and I'll give you guys my contact information at the end. Set up a meeting with me, complete the internship application, as well as providing insurance verification. And you want to work on identifying a site. and complete a verification of site, internship site form. All of those forms are really the beginning, and that we really can't move beyond, registering for a class or anything like that until those first three steps have been done. So that does require you to identify a site for your internship, and that may be the biggest hurdle. But if you already have a site in mind, you can definitely start the application process, and I can help you with getting started with that. And then to be completed during the internship, meet monthly. There's a number of reports that are submitted, the first week report, then there's weekly reports, and then the supervisor submits a third week report as well as the final report at the end of the semester. And then what's really great about the internship is that as you're completing your weekly forms, you are creating really the body of your final portfolio. And that's where that overall reflection on the internship as well as your performance, you're able to take a look back and say, okay, how did this go? Is this where I want to be? What am I going to look for, as I graduate and I actually enter into the workforce? Did I pick up some clues during my internship? And so that's the really neat thing. And that final portfolio is electronic, and it's something that you want to spend some time working on, because you can use that in the future as you search for jobs, and you can show, here's the work that I've done. I had hands-on experience before I graduated. So that's the really neat thing about how we kind of structured this internship. And so the key takeaway, and I'm repeating a lot of things because there's not a whole lot, but there are very important things to keep in mind with an internship. They must be approved. I have to give you guys that approval after reviewing, the application, the site verification, and make sure you have proof of insurance. The approval must occur before you start any hours. So you can't start working, count those hours, and then apply. And we do that really for protection of the students. We want to make sure that the site is a good place, a good learning experience for you. And so we want to make sure that you get that approval, and then we start counting your hours after it's been approved. Do keep in mind, many internships do not offer stipends, but if you're lucky enough to find one, that is allowed. So don't stress about that either. 120 supervised hours are required. And then weekly progress reports are required, and monthly meetings with the internship coordinator is also required. So on this last slide, this is how you kind of get the ball rolling. So if you are interested, you can go to this link, and I will put this in the chat box for you all. You can go to this link and set up a time to meet with me, and we can start talking. If you're still unsure, you can also set up a time and meet with me, and we can talk through what your concerns might be. And then if you can also email me. And if you email me, then you say, I'm interested, here's what I'm thinking. It literally doesn't have to be very long. You can say, I'm thinking of this site because I have already connected with the owner of the site, or the lead clinician or the lead director. And I will send you access to all of the documents that will get you started with the site verification. And we can get started with the process there. So I want to stop there and see if there are any questions. That was a lot of information really quickly. I'm going to put my calendar website there, so you guys can click on that and you can find a time to set up a Zoom meeting with me really super fast.
I have a question.
Yep.
Would there are opportunities for internships that are exclusively online? Is that something that is considered, or would you prefer them be in person and working, or can they be online in this field?
I haven't had an online internship come across my desk yet, but the way that kind of health and wellness is moving, there are opportunities now for telehealth. So it definitely can be under consideration. So good question. It's the future of healthcare, actually. Go ahead, Rhonda, you have a question? You're on mute.
Hi, I'm sorry. So where do we obtain the insurance? What we call any insurance company or a particular insurance company? Can you recommend someone?
Good question. We have two recommendations for insurance, and they are basically a liability insurance. So just to make sure that you're covered, you are working in clinical settings, and most of those settings require that you have some form of liability insurance when a student is working as an intern. It usually is about 30 or 40 bucks for the semester. And I can definitely send you, it's all included in the application, how you would sign up and everything.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's pretty quick. Once you go to the website, you sign up, you have coverage.
Okay. Thank you.
Question.
Yeah.
So what is the deadline to complete like those first steps? If, say, for instance, I wanted to do an internship this fall.
This fall. So you should have it done one semester prior to your intended start of the internship. So if you plan on doing it this fall, I would recommend doing it to start the application process at the end of spring and at the very latest during the summer semester.
Okay, great. Thank you.
One semester before.
Gotcha.
I have one more question, Tyra. For a lot of my grad students that are already in professions that's totally fine for them to use those jobs as their internship.
Absolutely. With those, I do question a little bit more, making sure that they have that supervised time and that they are doing something that really stretches beyond their current role. And so that is usually a conversation with their supervisor or further details about what they are intending, which time of their work they're intending to apply to the internship.
I have another question. So we can basically just internship anywhere as long as it pertains to kinesiology in some shape or form, correct?
Yes, as long as it falls in the subdisciplines of kinesiology and that it is truly an academic experience and that they're not just putting you to work.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
That's the nicest way I could say that. Any other questions? All right. There is a lot of information here, but definitely reach out to me to get the process started. And that's really the first step. Reach out to me, tell me you're interested, what your timeline is, and I will send you access to all of the documents that you need. And there'll be more detail of step-by-step what to do. And there's a checklist. I don't know about you, I love checklists, but there's a checklist to help make sure you get everything covered. And then I'll be there to help support you as well.
I have another question actually. So as far as like, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, no. So I'm planning on doing the Health and Wellness Management 4+1 program. And I know that there was some mention about an internship being required for that. Would that be the same thing as this? Like if I do this internship, it would apply to the 4+1 internship?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure about that. I would have to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah.
We will collaborate on that and get back to you.
That would be great. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right. If there are no other questions, I really appreciate your time. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Michaela. And again, reach out to any of us if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thanks for doing this, Tyra.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tyra.